Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review, or in this case this is a beer comparison. It's a beer that I've already reviewed. I'm certain I've reviewed it in bottle form, and I've reviewed it on the Perfect Draft, but what we're going to do is do a comparison between the bottle and the Perfect Draft version. So the beer we are looking at, let me give you not just a clue but the answer. There we go. San Miguel. San Miguel a special. So we got the bottled version, a big 660ml bottle. This was picked up from One Stop or somewhere anyway. And this is, I believe, the UK brewed one, but also 5%. And like I say, that will be going up against the one in the Perfect Draft, or the Perfect Draft Pro, which I believe is brewed in Spain. I believe this one is, or somewhere, isn't it? Somewhere. But it's the 5.4% version. And when I reviewed that, I did feel that at the time of reviewing it, it did feel very different from the bottle in taste. I thought it was very grainy. So we're going to see how much different it actually is. So I will pause the video for a second and I will do a pour of the Perfect Draft on. We'll come back and I'll show you that, and then we'll get the older bottled version going. But it'll be interesting to see what the difference is. Obviously, price-wise, there's probably a massive difference. I can't think how much the San Miguel was now, off the top of my head. Probably about £2.50. I think it could even be more. I think they're heading towards sort of a higher end of the £2, maybe getting close to £3 for these big bottles now. But the keg is 10.5 pints, and that actually come in at £33 because I got it on an offer, plus you get £5 off, so £28. I would have earned tokens off the order as well, but let's ignore that side of it. It's £28 for 10.5 pints. So in a sense, you could say that is actually working out better value, or about the same price. So yeah, I'm going to pause the video. We'll go over and do a pour. I'll let the machine stop doing its stuff, and then we'll crack on with it. Back in a tick. Right, we're back. A shitty pour, awful pour. I don't know why. The machine was turned off the other day for a bit, and then I turned it on again. So whether it's, I don't know whether it's like it's been reloaded, I don't know, but we got a massive head on this beer, I will say. As much as I tried to pour it very decent, we got a massive head. Nucleated glass, bubbles coming up. I'm actually quite surprised bubbles aren't sticking to the glass, because my wife cleaned both of these. That may well happen with the other one. So that's the Perfect Draft one, set at 3 degrees. This has been in the fridge, probably at about 4 degrees it is, I would say. So let's get it cracked open. We'll get a bottle opener and get it open. Typical sort of branding, same with the keg, and I like the old crown on it. Let's get it cracked, get it poured, see what we get. I can always top that one up after the PD keg one. I mean, it's not really, it's a comparison. I'm going to compare the two, and I know some will say, well, it's obviously a different recipe, or this, that, and the other. But it's, you know, this is why we do it. We do it to compare them. That's the idea of a comparison, to compare the two. So there we go. Plenty of carbonation. There's definitely more in that than this. This one has died down. Heads are very much sort of similar. That's quite spacious, sort of compact, but quite spacious. And that was exactly the same. Like I say, I will give that a top up. Colour-wise, I am going to say it's definitely colder, the one in the PD. I would say definitely a degree or two colder. But looking there, up against the light, there is a massive difference in colour as far as I'm concerned. And I'm seeing that this side and that side of the camera. Carbonation's more in the bottle. The head is going down on both, but it's sort of levelled out a bit now. Sort of levelled out a bit. But yeah, for me, colour is different and carbonation is different. Let's dive in on the nose, see what we get from the bottled version. Let's go in the bottled version first with the nose. To be fair, that does smell malty and grainy. slightly sweet. That sort of syrupy note. And there may well be a touch of citrus in there. I'm glad I picked it up because it's not just my nose now. Obviously, I must be getting better. I still feel I'm still trying to fight it off. But let's go in on the PD one. Very different. They are different. They're similar but different. Very malty, more grainy, more of a bready note for me, more of a sort of like brown bread note on it. Not so syrupy, I would say, but doesn't maybe have that lemon citrus thing. But if I remember rightly, when I reviewed the keg, I said if it is there, it is very, very subtle. But in all fairness, they both smell pretty decent. So let's go in with the bottle version of San Miguel first. Cheers, everyone. I'm dead thirsty, working outside, dealing with sand and cement as well. I'm as dry as a nanny goat's knee. Let's dive in. Tell you what, that doesn't half hit the spot when you're dry. It's got to be said. Let's go in again. Body. Well, let's. I would say the body is okay for a 5% lager. You can't really say I would knock it. Quite busy on the carbonation, but that is dying down a bit. Again, grainy, malty. Little bit of bitterness on the back end, I'd say. Maybe a touch of metallicness there. But all right, I wouldn't say it's, certainly from the first mouthful, it doesn't taste as good as the first mouthful. So let's dive in on the PD one. As you can see, that has really sort of died down now. Let's go in. And surprisingly, that feels very busy in the mouth with the carbonation. But, you know, you look at that and there is virtually no bubbles going up. You probably can't see that. There's virtually no bubbles going up, but when it hits the palate, there's still quite a bit of fizz in it. It's a tough one, got to go in again. Oh yeah. I actually thought the body was all right on that. And it ain't too bad. And the reason I just tasted that again is because I thought, hang on, this feels, is this light? So I compared it with that one. And there's a big difference. There is a difference. You can just tell the difference instantly in the body. I would actually say you get more bitterness from the Perfect Draft one. It's a bit more, it's just a bit more everything really over the bottled version. It's a bit more malty. It's definitely got a bit more grainy sort of feel to it, to the point that you get that sort of brown breadness thing going on, I would say. Very, very similar, but it's just a bit more. slight sweetness there. It isn't really feeling sort of syrupy. It's feeling, how can I put it, more real, possibly. Feels maybe a little bit more natural sweetness. Pardon me, Baz is filling up with gas. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, massive difference in that body. I mean, I'm going to say that one's sort of going flat now because it's been poured for a bit and is been sat there for a while. It's going again. It's quite a tough one, this, although there is a difference there and you do notice it. Yeah, the more you drink the bottled version, for me, the more it starts to show a little bit more thinness. In a minute, I'll go and top up the PD one. And the more it just starts to taste like a lager, a standard sort of lager. Yeah, different, but you start getting that, how can I put it? I wouldn't say nastiness, but you start getting that run-of-the-mill flavour to it. So I'm going to quickly shoot over, fill up the PD one. I think only fair to give it a bit more taste. Obviously that's poured that little bit better, as you can see. Still not a massive amount of carbonation. But that head's a lot nicer there, isn't it? That looks a lot nicer. Yeah. And to be honest, obviously when I started drinking it, there was virtually no head there. That's still got a nice fluffy creamy head. And that feels 10 times better straight away. And maybe it's this one. I'm starting to pick up a bit of a taste, a twang to it, but that could be off that. But it doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel, maybe the PD one is masking that bit of a twang this has got, or if the PD one does have that bit of a twang, it's nowhere near what this one was. It's hard to describe. ABV wise, yeah, that's really just starting to taste like any other lager now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference, not a massive difference. You get less of all that sort of nasty, horrible stuff that you end up getting with bottles. You end up getting you get less of that with the PD one. ABV wise, that's what I was going on to, wasn't I? Yeah, it tastes sort of like 5%-ish. And yeah, the PD one, you just get that little extra oomph. For me, yeah, you're going to say they're different recipes and that, but just comparing the two, for me, the PD one is better. There is kind of a big difference when you taste the two together. There's not like this humongous difference that you go, oh my god, that is so massively different. But there is a difference. When you drink them together, you notice it. But I actually think if you just drunk bottles and didn't have a PD one by it, you wouldn't really notice the difference, if I'm honest. Pardon me. Gas is building up. Let me just pause. Got to blow the old nostrils. Right, we're back. You didn't want me sniffing or wiping my nose all the time, did you? Yeah, basically, I think the PD1 is better. It's a very noticeable difference, but not humongous. But I think if you're not sitting them side by side, I don't think you would know. Realistically, I think that they're similar enough that, you know, it. And unless you drink it on PD and then suddenly go out and start having it in bottles, or you go to a friend's house the following day and drink it, you might notice it. But I think otherwise, once you'd had a pint or two, I really don't think you'd notice it. I think this is one of the few beers that maybe you could get away with. I'm not going to say not getting it on PD, because the PD version is definitely a better version. But I think it's one of them that, and to be honest, looking at the price of it, if you can get it at a decent deal, it actually works out cheaper anyway, so it is worth doing. But if at the time of wanting San Miguel, it works out a damn sight more expensive than bottles, I think the bottle version is a perfectly acceptable sort of substitute for the PD one, if I'm honest. So yeah, for me, the PD one wins. The bottle San Miguel is not the worst lager going. It's nowhere near the best lager either, but it's a perfectly respectable beer. If you can't afford a PD keg, certainly buy the bottles, because I don't think it's a million miles off. I don't think you would notice massively drinking it a massive difference unless you're sitting there comparing the two. So there you go. There's my comparison. Sorry, 17 minutes in. How the hell did that go on for 17 minutes? Apologies for that. But I hope you enjoyed it. Get the cough up. Enjoy the good weather. And I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.